U.S. revokes Turkish student's visa over alleged policy violation.
You tell us when you apply, hi, I'm trying to get into the United States on a student visa. I am a big supporter of Hamas, a murderous, barbaric group that kidnaps children, that rapes teenage girls, that takes hostages, that allows them to die in captivity, that returns more bodies than live hostages. If you tell us that you are in favor of a group like this, and if you tell us when you apply for your visa, and by the way, I intend to come to your country as a student and rile up all kinds of anti-Jewish student, anti-Semitic activities, I intend to shut down your universities. If you told us all these things when you applied for a visa, we would deny your visa. I hope we would. If you actually end up doing that, once you're in this country on such a visa, we will revoke it. And if you end up having a green card, not citizenship, but a green card as a result of that visa while you're here in those activities, we're going to kick you out. It's as simple as that. This is not about free speech. This is about people that don't have a right to be in the United States to begin with. No one has a right to a student visa. No one has a right to a green card, by the way. So when you apply for a student visa, or any visa to enter the United States, we have a right to deny you for virtually any reason. But I think being a supporter of Hamas and coming into our universities and turning them upside down and being complicit in what are clearly crimes of vandalization, complicit in shutting down learning institutions. There are kids at these schools that can't go to class. You pay all this money to these high-priced schools that are supposed to be of great esteem, and you can't even go to class. You're afraid to go to class because these lunatics are running around with covers on their face, screaming terrifying things. If you told us that's what you intended to do when you came to America, we would have never let you in. And if you do it once you get in, we're going to revoke it and kick you out. It's important. There's a clear distinction between protesting against the democratic order and protesting in favor of groups that advocate the slaughter and murder of innocent people. We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. We revoked it, and here's why. And I'll say it again, I said it everywhere. Let me be abundantly clear, okay? If you go apply for a visa right now, anywhere in the world, let me just send this message out. If you apply for a visa to enter the United States and be a student, and you tell us that the reason why you're coming to the United States is not just because you want to write op-eds, but because you want to participate in movements that are involved in doing things like vandalizing universities, harassing students, taking over buildings, creating a ruckus, we're not going to give you a visa. If you lie to us and get a visa and then enter the United States and with that visa participate in that sort of activity, we're going to take away your visa. And once you've lost your visa, you're no longer legally in the United States, and we have a right, like every country in the world has a right, to remove you from our country. So it's just that simple. I think it's crazy. I think it's stupid for any country in the world to welcome people into their country that are going to go to your universities as visitors. They're visitors. And say, I'm going to your universities to start a riot. I'm going to your universities to take over a library and harass people. I don't care what movement you're involved in. Why would any country in the world allow people to come and disrupt? We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses. And if we've given you a visa and then you decide to do that, we're going to take it away. I encourage every country to do that, by the way, because I think it's crazy to invite students into your country that are coming onto your campus and destabilizing it. We're just not going to have it. So we'll revoke your visa, and once your visa is revoked, you're illegally in the country and you have to leave. Every country in the world has a right to decide who comes in as a visitor and who doesn't. If you invite me into your home because you say, I want to come to your house for dinner, and I go to your house and I start putting mud on your couch and spray painting your kitchen, I bet you're going to kick me out. But we're going to do the same thing if you come into the United States as a visitor and create a ruckus for us. We don't want it. We don't want it in our country. Go back and do it in your country. But you're not going to do it in our country.
There's been reporting that 300 visas, the government has revoked 300.
Maybe more. It might be more than 300 at this point. We do it every day. Every time I find one of these lunatics, I take away their visa.
You're saying it could be more than 300?
Sure, I hope. At some point I hope we run out because we've gotten rid of all of them. But we're looking every day for these lunatics that are tearing things up. And by the way, we want to get rid of gang members too. So Venezuela sent us a bunch of gang members. I'm sure you've heard of Tren Mr. President. Terrible gang, vicious gang. They flooded in there. Yesterday, just so everybody knows, yesterday, one of these gang members who was involved in New York City and attacking a police officer was deported back to Venezuela because they're now taking flights again, because of some strong measures we've taken. And this guy lands. This guy's a guy that attacked a police officer in New York City and laughed about it in court with a smirk on his face. When he gets off the plane in Venezuela, he's welcomed by this character named Diosdado Cabello. I don't know if you've heard of this guy. And he welcomes in hugging the guy, So does anybody have any doubt that these people are pushing these people into the United States to destabilize us in the region? So yeah, we're looking for people like this and we want to get them out of the United States. Absolutely.
The United States government has revoked the student visa of Turkish national Rumeysa Ozturk, citing alleged activities that exceeded the limitations of her visa status. Addressing the issue on Friday, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized that international students must comply with the terms of their visas. If we grant you a visa for academic purposes and you engage in activities outside that scope, we will take it away, he stated. Ozturk, a doctoral student at Tufts University, was reportedly detained by federal agents near her off-campus residence in Somerville, Massachusetts, on Tuesday night. The 27-year-old was allegedly en route to break her Ramadan fast when she was taken into custody. A spokesperson for Homeland Security claimed that Ozturk had participated in activities supporting Hamas, which they argued justified the revocation of her visa. In response, Ozturk has filed a legal petition challenging her detention. Federal Judge Indira Talwani later issued an order preventing Ozturk from being removed from Massachusetts without prior court notification. However, it remains unclear whether authorities have adhered to this directive. Tufts University President Sunil Kumar acknowledged the situation, stating that the university had no prior knowledge of the detention and did not assist federal authorities in the matter. Ozturk had previously engaged in campus activism and co-authored an article in March criticizing Tufts University's response to Palestinian-related concerns.